The following program is a collection of dudes talking about the happenings in the CrossFit world. It's meant to be a comedic, informative. The opinions, especially of those of John Young, do not necessarily reflect the beliefs of others on the show. If you take these things out of context, please reconsider watching. Enjoy the show. Spin time.
Welcome to the spin. It is October 2nd, and Arielle Loewen, TYR WZA SoCal champion.
Thanks for having me. You added some big words in there.
I did.
Got me
I
a little
did.
bit.
It got you tricked up.
Yeah, these aren't kid books.
Well, welcome to the show. I definitely want to talk about a story that you posted last week, but okay. I want to start with TYR WZA SoCal TYR Cup. You were on Team North America,
right?
What was your experience just in general of going out there to California and competing on a team?
It was needed. So TYR kind of treated us like royalty all weekend, and it felt awesome. Picked us up from the airport, had a beautiful hotel right next to the location of the beach. So the whole atmosphere was beautiful. And then I think because we're on a team, it almost felt like the athletes came together, were cheering for a common purpose. And it was very healing. It was fun to come together and like have some camaraderie, but also we're competitive, but have fun with it at the same time.
Was it, I guess, because you had signed up before the games, is that correct? And then obviously the games happened.
And then the games happened. And I did consider not doing it. And to go on record, Dylan told me not to do it. And I was like, man, I really think it'd be healing. I would really like to do it. Like, I'm sorry, babe, we're going to California.
So did you have any second thoughts of that? I mean, obviously Dylan had, may have had a different opinion, but
I really did. To be super honest, I felt like the games put up a wall between certain athletes. So I was like, man, I don't really know if I want to see all the athletes right now. I don't really know if I want to compete with them. Nothing against them. It's just the games kind of destroyed me mentally. I don't know. So it was more of like, do I want to be in that environment or would I rather stay home with my family? But I was like, nothing good ever comes from staying at home, not, like taking on conflict right on. So it was very healing, and I'm glad I did it.
That's good. You make it out there. Were you prepared for the amount of volume that you'd end up going through? Because it seemed like a lot.
It seemed like a lot, but I didn't think it was that bad. So What you guys saw was like 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. So we had from, let's say I was up at 8 a.m. till 7 p.m. We could basically do whatever we wanted, go to the beach, go out to dinner, and then we would just compete at night. So for me, it felt like a vacation, and I do CrossFit all year round. I'm not like the others who are like on a intense for the games, take a month off, So for me, it was just another chance to work out.
A couple really hard sessions at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I'm like, all it is a heavy lift and then a few worm thrusters. That's nothing for a normal day.
Speaking of worm thrusters, what happened on the second event?
It was chaos. I mean, if y'all saw it. So we had one rule going into it. Like, we're not dropping the worm. Because there's penalty burpees.
Good rule.
One rule. And practice, perfect. Backstage, perfect. As soon as we got on the floor, I think the fatigue from the event DB had just done. We just did a bunch of wall walks, and our shoulder, whatever these are, were slower than what we practiced. So she's screaming behind me. She's like, speed up. My arms are on fire. So we do one round. It's fine. We drop it. And the person in the front controls the pace. So she was telling Emily to go faster. And we started, and I think we got to 17, and we were on the wrong shoulder. And DB's screaming, the music is loud. Emily thought we were on squats. So Emily starts to squats when we really had one more push press, and I just hear cussing. And next thing I know, like the sandbag is just ripped out from us. And I look over and DB's just yelling at us. And literally it was just mom mode. And I was like, I don't care who spilt the milk. We're cleaning up the mess. Like, we moved the worm. We're going down to do burpees right now. We can talk about what happened afterwards. And so it was just like chaotic. And I was just like, okay, I'm the captain now. We do the burpees. Like, we're from behind and it sucks, but we have nothing else to do. And I mean, in hindsight, there's probably a lot of things we could have fixed. I don't blame DB. I don't blame anything. I could have told Emily, hey, we're on the wrong shoulder. Get to the other shoulder. We'll do another one. So there's fault on every side, but it was a mess.
That's why all of you guys need to be mic'd up. And
dude,
you could look at Danielle. You broke the one rule. And like, it would have been amazing. It would have been
amazing. And then we were coming from behind after that, and they were just solid, didn't make any mistakes. But when we walked off the floor, the tensions were high. DB's like, I'm never doing team again. Me and Emily are like, what happened? Was it my fault? Whose fault? And we were just like, we didn't know what happened. It's funny.
Man, Worm will kill you if you're sketchy on the if you're iffy about team. Worm will take you right out of it. It'll make you want to quit team so fast.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it was very humbling. And the worm was really hard. I'm not gonna lie, it was hard.
You then follow that up with a few PRs, I mean, 5 to be exact. We had talked. You said you don't really go super heavy in the garage.
No.
I guess first, why, and then did you have any idea that you had that in you at those weights?
I mean, if you asked Dylan, he always knew I could do it. But I did a really, really aggressive strength cycle going into the games. So an example of that is I do a lot of complexes. So I'd build up to a heavy complex of like high hang, squat clean, 2 front squats, and a jerk. So I'm testing how heavy I can go at that complex, but never do I sit down and be like, okay, max, clean and jerk, alone in the gym, nobody watching me, let's do it. So I had built up to really heavy on that complex before the games, and then I guess I just maintained my strength after Wodapalooza. So it was so exciting, especially on the clean event, to like do 235 as an opener and be like, oh, that feels easy. Let's see if we can build up to 250. 200 was my goal on the snatch. I think I still have more in the tank, but whenever they picked who they wanted to do the max lifts, I wasn't going to like raise my hand and be excited because we went into that event knowing we're going to take the L because Guy is just so strong. But I'm glad they picked me because it gave me a chance to like see the hard work I did before the games.
And you had Tia scared, man. Yeah.
I mean, let it be known. She lifted 5 more pounds than me. And to me, Tia is like the strongest in the game. So to be close to her, she might not have been pushing that hard, but
she didn't have a ton left. I've not 210's the most she's done in a competition.
Yeah, and I would like to think, in hindsight, I finished 200 and I celebrated, and Medeiros came up to me and was like, do you want to add more? You still have time. And I was like, no, I'm content. In hindsight, I'm like, what would have happened if I did 205? Right. You know?
Yeah. Do you, I mean, like Guy obviously didn't have to go as hard as he did.
Right.
Is there anything in the back of your mind though that's like, I don't want to miss in front of the crowd. Like, I'd rather hold back a little bit and hit 6 of 6 in that situation.
No, I didn't care. I treated this competition kind of like an exhibition. I never make 10-pound jumps, like going from 185 on snatch to 195. And I was like, okay, this isn't the time to be scared. Being scared is the rogue style, the like meticulous detail. I was like, let's take some chances. And now I know I can handle it.
And then on Sunday, it's very close. It's 4-4. How much, I mean, you said it treated like an exhibition, but I mean, how much were you guys really like stressed or trying to win that competition like Sunday afternoon?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if anybody slept good Saturday night. And like Adam Neefer was kind of our like coach, I would say. So he straight up strategized everything for us on Sunday. He's the one who showed us the worm technique. He's the one, and he's like, hey, if you want to win, we have to be smarter than them because we're all the same fitness level. They're right there with us. So yeah, I was nervous we weren't going to win. Like they showed up.
Well, if he's the one who said crawl with the freaking ball, he needs to reevaluate himself. That's what he needs to do. That's the worst thing I've ever freaking saw, Arielle.
I know they had said.
I don't know if you saw. I crucified Emily. I crucified her.
But the thing is, John, they literally told us, like, as soon as the girls finish your double unders, you go to the ball and hand over hand pushing it. They're like, we tested this and
nobody else is doing it, girl. Everybody else is way faster.
I know. In hindsight, looking at it, their strategy was not correct on that part. You can.
Yeah, John was losing his mind watching Emily.
Oh man,
I know. Thank goodness I didn't go first, because like as soon as Patrick, because Patrick was our guy all weekend, Patrick Vellner. As soon as Patrick saw how slow Emily's technique was versus the other person, he's like, abort, turn around. And then whenever I went out there, I switched it.
So I mean, sounds like you had a great time.
Yeah.
You want to do that again next year?
Oh yeah, for sure. If I'm invited. I feel like now that people see how much fun it was, I mean, we went home with a nice little payday for a weekend. I wouldn't doubt if it's a little bit harder to get spots in.
Yeah. And then, you know, you briefly mentioned on the games. I want to bring up a video here of a story that you posted last week, and we'll kind of get into that.
I have major regrets for not doing this comp this year. I don't know if I'm doing the games next year, but I would love to do more events like this. Like, I'd love to go to NorCal, do that event, Wadapalooza for sure, maybe Crash Crucible. I think next year might be focused more on different comps than the games. So this would definitely be one that I consider.
All right. You can take that several different ways. You also had another one that you posted about the games was, I don't know, I can't remember exactly what you said. It was like games was pretty rough. You know, I could see myself not doing it again or something like that. What was your intent behind that video, and kind of where is your thoughts on the 2025 season?
Yeah, I like being really open and honest with people. And like, I think it's no surprise the games are horrible. And I'm kind of still uneasy about it. And I think the reason I'm uneasy about it is because if I think about the 2025 CrossFit Games, from what we know, nothing has changed. So for me to go and sign up to do the games again, I know what to expect. I know that nothing's changed. So until I see something that makes me feel a little bit better about it, I'll consider it. I don't think about it until it's upon us. So like, to be honest, I won't make a decision on doing the games until there's new information or until the open rolls around and I'm forced to decide. But right now, like thinking about doing it, there's nothing in me that's like, oh, I'm so excited. Let me peek for it. I can't wait. Like it's been in years past.
Is that is that when you say the change, is that from like the PFAA's 3 demands, or do you have different things that you'd like to see that maybe a combination of what they have and what you would like to see personally done differently?
Not entirely. I'd like to see more of like a team when like programming, thinking of athlete safety, and there's like a checks and balances that come with it. But if I think of like the Invitational, like I'd consider doing that one, of course. The Invitational is athlete focused. They're there for us. They definitely make us feel special. Not that we need that, but they know they're putting on a spectacle for the athletes. And then Wadapalooza, like I experienced at the Tier Cup, is experience focused. So like you get the fun beach, you still have a good competitive environment. It's still like some of the tops in the sports. And I feel like those are things the game should have. But when I think of it, I don't think of any of those with it. And the games is a pinnacle. Like we need the best at the games because it is the best of the best. But like in reality, CrossFit is based on community. I can get community at the Rogue Invitational. I can get community at the Wadapalooza, and it's a lot more fun. And that's kind of what felt good at the Tier Cup is like, oh, I love CrossFit and I love the people that brings CrossFit together. And like the Tier Cup still had that. Rogue will still have that. Wadapalooza will still have that.
So when you say a team
Yeah.
and checks and balances, and I get that. So like, you don't want a dictator. One guy's running the show. He does the programming. He does everything. Everything's by what this guy says, right? If it is, say, a team of like 4 people, but that guy's still a part of that team.
I think that's fine, but John Young, those people can't be yes man.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
It's a true. He's one cog of the 4, right? No. Okay.
And this is just me, my opinions. I don't know how to fix it. I don't think anybody does. But right now, as far as we know, nothing has been done.
Right. No, I think it's good to get that type, like specifics, like in the open. You know what I mean? If it's not just, if he's not fired, I'm out. You know what I mean? If that's not necessarily the case, like, I think it's good people know that, you know?
Yeah. No, and I think like nobody needs to have the pressure of that. Like, a team is not a bad thing.
I agree completely.
Yeah.
Have you been involved in the PFAA? Like, have you been part of any of it or invited to join it, or kind of what's your experience been with them up until the games, and then maybe has that changed after?
No, I haven't. I feel like there's not a lot there's stuff I would share, but it would be in a private conversation, not for a ton of people to listen to. But I would say actions speak louder than words, and the PFAA has been all words.
Okay. All right. Have you talked to anybody else in the space and has the similar kind of thought as you? I think a lot of people,
We're in the dark on a lot of y'all's thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely a split between the two, and like some are like, I want it to stay the same. Some are blow the whole thing up, and I think you're the first one to kind of really address that you may approach next year differently. Have you talked to anybody else that may be in the same camp as you?
No, I'll be honest. Since the games, I'll check in with people, but it's to see how they're doing mentally, not necessarily to look ahead to next season. Like, y'all know I love Spiegel. I ran into Spiegel at Wadapalooza. We talked, but none of it had to do with the games. I talked to McQuaid. I talked to Jacqueline Dahlstrom. And it's like, how are you as a person? Not necessarily like, where's your head at for next year? So I would be curious what their opinions are. I haven't asked because to me, I don't think ahead that much. Like, I'll think about the Open when the Open is a week away.
Yeah. It's very interesting because I've heard that the investigation is coming to a close. I don't know if that's accurate or not.
October 7th, I think, is the date they said.
I assumed this was like a lawyer situation that took years to resolve.
Oh,
I didn't even know that.
No, like,
I have no idea.
We don't know anything. But they said we're going to find something out October 7th. That's basically all.
You have better sources than I do there, John.
Well, then never mind. I don't know where I heard that.
I was going to say, I think this is one of those situations where John thinks he knows things. That
in another real way, I know nothing about anything. I agree. I agree.
I don't know it. No, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like we left the games and like we heard Luca's side. We saw Dave's one post. And since then, like, the games have been very silent and I haven't heard anything.
Is there anything you think that CrossFit should have been doing the last 2 months? Like, because they're obviously quiet, right? Like,
right.
Is there anything they could do between now and when this report comes out? Like, I don't know.
Something that would be super simple and beautiful. Like, let's say we do a community workout and it's the Lazard tribute. I feel like that would be something really easy. But as far as like posting on social media, I don't think it's appropriate to be goofy. I don't think it's appropriate to be too serious. Like, you're wrong no matter what you do.
Yeah. No, it's. I
think on their side, they want to figure out the legal situation before they do anything.
Yeah. No, I get that. I would too.
So for you, and sorry if I poke too far, but I don't know how you feel about all of this stuff.
Okay.
I've missed out on that. So based on what I'm hearing is Lazar died. it made CrossFit, the games, not okay for you, not fun, not safe. And you're just like, I'm out. I don't really care what everybody else is doing until I have confidence that CrossFit's doing the right thing. I'm out. Is that the summation?
So I think safe is not the word I'd use. I would say what happened was horrible. That's on them. As far as everything that happened after that is what like drew a line in the sand with me for CrossFit. Because no longer was it community. No longer was it this. It was, hey, the show's going on. Hey, show up at 8 a.m. Hey, here's the athlete brief. Here's the workout. So everything that happened after really scarred me, like hearing people, the games must go on. We're here to compete. I want my money and all that. And it's like, what are you doing? But it's just like where different people find value. So everything that happened after and how it was handled professionally as an organization, using words like the shareholders want it to go on, stuff like that, where it's like you had a choice and y'all made the wrong choice. And like I did do 4 events maybe. Each event I just saw and felt like this is a production. This is a show. You circus monkeys need to go perform for the show.
You didn't like feeling like a racehorse.
Yeah, I ended up feeling like empty inside and like a racehorse. Like people paid to see you do your dance on the stage. Go do your dance. Oh, you're crying 2 seconds before you walk on the field. Hey, wipe your tears. Now go out there and do the rope climb. It's just like the show goes on, but everybody inside is just like I'm not a monkey. Like I don't, that's what it was for me.
Did you, I imagine a lot of that tension came on Thursday afternoon during that meeting. Did you want it to cancel the games at that time?
I would have been okay if it continued under different circumstances. Like, hey, no leaderboard, all the money goes to Lazar. The community paid thousands to be here. Let's put on there's no leaderboard, just do the workouts. Something like that. But I think because of the nature of still competing against one another, like I didn't want that. I didn't want to like doing Chad, be like remembering the fall-in, and then at the same time the announcer is telling you, hey, this person's in the lead by 50 reps, like pitting us against each other, trying to compete when really we just wanted to come together.
So I imagine that Friday was pretty tough, pulling you kind of 2 different directions, and then I think you withdrew Saturday morning. Is that?
Yeah. So the way I saw it, I wanted it to be canceled. It wasn't. And I had so many people there who came to see me because it was in my home state. So I was like, I'll show up for the people. I'll give it one day. As selfish as it sounds, they can see my face. They can see me perform. And I think just after Chad, something switched. And then we came back to the hotel after Chad and actually heard Luca speak directly. And after I heard his words, I was like, I can't stand for that company. I can't go out there and perform anymore. And then I was just like, I'm out. And I think hearing his side versus what we had heard Thursday in that athlete meeting, it like literally made me shake. And I was like, they literally, any way you could twist it to make us still go out there and perform, they did.
And I assume that what Luca told you directly was pretty similar to what he had posted.
Yeah, all the words that we had heard was exactly what he had typed up. So everybody, if you've read that, does know that.
Got it. Okay. So, I mean, it sounds like you're not ready to make a decision. You'll basically kind of play it by ear, see what happens over the next few months.
Exactly. But I am at the same time soaking up as much of the off season as I can. So I'm going to be doing all the off season comps. So if I decide not to, I'll have no regrets. And guess what? There's more out there. But the thing that does suck in that situation is the game sets the tone for everything. So if I want an easy invite to Rogue, I do the games. If I want an easy invite into Wadapalooza, I do the games. So that is the only negative about it. And like if I want a good spot on the mountain, the John Young Mountain, I gotta do the games.
I would not let that influence your decision very much, Arielle.
I'm just trying to give you a plug.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Are you doing Crash?
I wish, no.
I bet JR would still invite you, even though it's next week.
Pedro asked. Traveling is hard with my family, Dylan's business and Blakely. So it's traveling there, then to Scotland is just not in the cards.
Yeah, and with all the hurricane that went through, I mean, it's got to be.
I don't know how
it's not
I'm
exactly
gonna get there.
easy.
It's doing
like
great.
I have been low key because now that it's off season, I'll just like cherry pick. I've been cherry picking a lot of their workouts. They post some good workouts.
Crashes.
Oh, crashes.
Yeah.
They're just regular
Jim
programming.
Page.
Yeah, and I'm like, how do normal affiliate people do these? Like,
there's some I've done.
It's not a normal affiliate.
No.
They're so hard.
They're ridiculous.
you have to like a sled, that's for sure.
Yeah.
A lot of sled work. But his program, I always look at it. I don't always do it, but it's always interesting how he programs.
It is. It's creative.
And Crucible is just like that. So, no, I appreciate you jumping on. And kind of, I don't know, say explain yourself, but at least giving a little bit more context behind that story, because, like I said,
thank you for being open about it. Because like I said, we have to talk on here every week, and we don't. I mean, we choose to talk on here every week, but we don't know anything, and we're just idiots talking about what we think, and we don't know anything. So
no, well, I appreciate you asking, because I don't necessarily listen to Savon, but of course Dylan opens his phone and he's like, Arielle, you're not doing the games next year? I just heard it here first from Savon. So I appreciate y'all asking, like, what was that story about? Because it's easy to assume, but I mean, you can even tell now, nothing's decided.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. And well, that, and good luck on Rogue. And I assume you'll be out there in Miami, and we'll see what happens.
I'm not allowed at Rogue. I would get dismembered by the strong women, so I won't be there. But I will be I'll be talking about it. That's
love it.
Sure.
I'm excited. Did you see their teaser that they posted the other day of like the fabric?
I haven't. No.
Okay, and whenever we signed up for Rogue, they asked for like very specific measurements.
They're gonna give you a kilt. That's probably what you're getting, is a kilt.
That's what I'm thinking. So you're gonna see a lot of people in skirts.
Squats and kilts would be weird, but
yeah, exclusive.
Dylan would love squatting in a kilt. I think you should try to petition for Dylan to get a kilt, because I think he would love it. Yeah,
but who would love to see it? He would love it.
You would love it, I think. I think you'd get a kick out of it.
I'll petition for him to get one. I'll send you a video, John Young, since you asked.
Thank you. I can't wait.
Awesome, Arielle. I appreciate you jumping on, and have a great night, and good luck.
Thanks for having me. Bye, guys.
Thanks.
Arielle Loewen.
That was good, man.
A little bit more perspective. I mean, I think it's obviously not set in stone, but
just the honesty, though, is very refreshing. You don't get that from very many people.
I saw some of the comments, like, give details, be more specific. I think as much as we want that, I'm not sure that anybody's in the position who's on the fence can do that yet. Right? Like, and we'll get into the Investi-speculation here in a bit, but like,
Investi-speculation.
Investi-speculation.
I've already said too much. We can't.
I don't even know what you're talking about, John.
That's the ultimate speculation.
I guess I thought you just knew that.
I have no idea. You have better sources than I do.
I have to figure out where I know that from now, because I don't quite remember. I thought that was just.
If it does come out on Monday, we do know John has the best.
You heard it here
sources.
first.
Yeah. But I don't think, if you are struggling with what to do, and obviously Arielle sounds like she's still trying to process some of that. I don't think you can expect her to be like, if this happens, I'm competing. If this doesn't happen, I'm not, because I don't think it's like, if Castro's even involved, I'm out. Like, I don't think there's like a black and white line.
She's playing it by ear.
Yeah.
It's also tough because I didn't want to make her defensive, but it's like, how do we know that there's not a team? How would you know if any of the people surrounding Dave, current or future, are yes or no men? Like, there's no test that's going to prove that.
Yeah, no, and you're right, and I guess you wouldn't, but I mean, I think there's certain actions you could probably show that you probably honestly just are more public about said actions. Like, well, like I had this, but Boz thought this would work better, and so we're rocking with this. Like, you know what I mean?
Do
like,
we want that to be public? I was thinking the same thing. I was like, maybe all of this exists. Maybe all of this exists, but it's not being communicated.
There's a lot that we don't know. Like, I think Dave does more than just like the programming. I don't think the programming itself is the issue.
No.
Well, right? It's communication.
It's the stuff outside of that.
There's 80 other, or so what is it, 70, 78 other people who didn't drown. So the programming's not like totally the issue.
No, that's not what I'm saying either.
I think the people have more issues with logistics,
right?
With the safety protocols or the action of the safety protocols that were in place, and possibly the communication with the PFAA. Now, it doesn't sound like Arielle's big into what the PFAA has done so far,
which is cool.
So I mean, I think it's.
Well, I don't think she like you said, like I don't think she's against Castro. It's just she just doesn't want a dictatorship, and she wants it to be a congregation. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I really don't. I mean, I know some people might be against it, but like I'm not against that. You know, I if Castro's a part of the congregation.
I think if anything, and what I would even say is probably needed, is to not have a small team. And whatever that looks like,
we have quite a large team at our hands, so we get stuff done.
What I mean is you can't have.
What do you mean by that? Because I mean,
I don't think you can have mistakes, and I mean, putting in perspective from the worst that's happened to the most minor of loading the barbells wrong, like having just different things that have happened last year in the open quarterfinals, last 2 years, right? Where there's been mistakes or workouts have been released early, and everything is, well, it's a small team. Mistakes happen.
Well, I don't think it has to do anything with the size of the team.
But if that's good, but if that's your excuse,
like and you're not Arielle's problem.
If you're spread thin, though, I think that's their issue, right? Like if they're spread thin, you're leaving things in the crack. Like things are slipping through the crack.
NorCal freaking just threw stuff at a pan and everybody loved it. Like I just.
Well, that goes back to like what's
extremely
the expectations between the two.
Crash's team
is JR.
Well, it's JR and several other people who
work at Crash.
Yeah, who donate their time and do this. But like, it is the professionalism that JR he demands out of everybody. If you're going to be involved, you have to operate at this level. And that's what we're not seeing, is things are getting lost in communication, or team leaders aren't leading their team correctly.
Right. It's a big undertaking.
So I don't think it has anything to do with the size.
Even the best people, though, if you're spread thin, you have too much on your plate.
Agree.
Make mistakes. That's kind of where
we can't say that that's true or not.
We don't know any of it. We don't know who was responsible for.
I don't know anything.
I feel like John right now. No, I mean, all we know that happens at the games is you have Dave Castor, who programmed for individuals, and you have Boz, who primarily programmed for teams. Outside of that, we don't know the roles and responsibilities of anybody else on the team. Like, we know Eubanks is there. We know Heather Lawrence is there.
Somewhere.
I imagine there's more than 4 people doing stuff like that are actually like operations of the games in the back. But we don't know who's responsible for any of this stuff. And so to speculate and say,
the issue is we never cared in the past.
Right.
And it isn't until somebody dies or something terrible happens that you're like, hey, I need receipts. I need to know who people are.
We need to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I would bet the team has not been larger than it is right now.
100% it has. 10 years ago.
Do you think it was larger?
You think we could run the games? The Sevon sphere?
No, we'd fuck it up.
No. If we had, listen to me now. If we had what headquarters had, like we have the resources of headquarters, right? I'm just the locker room. Do you think we could run the games?
Yes.
I'm talking to Spin because he's talking about the size of the team. Because
I think so too. I think so too. Yes, I think we could pull something off like that. Yes,
as the leadership team.
Yes,
I 100% feel the same way. I think we could have people like you're in charge of the media, you're in charge of the programming, you're
Tyler's
in
charge of the accounting.
Right. All right. He's in charge of Heat. Games is going to partner with Heat One. Shocker.
Yeah,
but
weird. Let me just.
You know what I mean? But you know what I mean. I feel like if you really think that in your heart, if you really think that
well, we couldn't do that. We're terrible at that.
Then what I'm saying is like, there's no reason mistakes should happen in the first place. Then because they have way more resources than what we would have. With the 12 of us,
maybe. I don't know. Again, if you could name off how many people are the leadership of the actual sport team, I don't know. I listed 4 people. That's it.
Well, I think a lot of it does come down to the whole thing where there's been so much turnover over the past couple of years, and if you're constantly afraid you're going to lose your job, you can't think at your max capacity. Other than I'm just obsessed with the games and I want it to go the best that it can. And I'm not fearful of my job, fearful of losing my job. I think it's another one of those things. And then people start acting that way. And then people below them start acting that way. Because if somebody above you is going to lose your job, how comfortable do you feel about your job?
That's fair. That's fair. All right. We got a little bit of time left to keep going through. First off, we're going to do the viewer comments. Then the 2025 Games Mountain will make its debut. So stay tuned for that. And then what I'm really excited for, a brand new game, Over Under, where one of you listeners will get to call in, compete against John Young in how well you know the CrossFit community.
Good luck.
And if you beat John Young,
there's prizes.
You will win a $100 gift card to Paper Street Coffee.
Oh,
but you got to beat John. Anyone can call? Yes, anyone can call. We'll see who is the lucky winner.
Grant's got the number on speed dial.
He's ready to go. He's ready to go. All right. First off, though, viewer comments.
Y'all don't even know what the questions are. Like you have no idea. It is not what you think it is.
It is. It is going to be a little bit different than you think.
Heavy Sevy made the cut. I'm so happy about it.
Viewer comments. So these are the 6 viewer comments who get to be read. First, Wanna Love. You guys had me laughing to tears. I just couldn't stop uncontrollably in hysterics. Thanks, guys. I needed that. So. Wanna Love just loves our show. Heavy Sevy. JY thought he was wrong once, but he was mistaken.
It sounds like a commercial, that one alcohol commercial, the coolest man in the world, Dos Equis.
Nathan Wilson. All right, he's a little bit mad at me. Spin, the PFAA has repeatedly said that CrossFit has not listened to them. So it's pretty disingenuous to say they have. CrossFit has certainly changed their safety standards over the years, but the whole point of all this PFAA talk has been that they have done very little. PFAA has also said they spent a lot of time bringing up issues with CrossFit in private before, and it was only after they ignored them that they went public. It's likely they would do the same with TYR WZA SoCal. Make sure you fix that, Nathan. So we don't actually know if they've addressed these issues or not in private already.
I would say that Brent having a meeting with Dom Fall and Dave Castro in California at semifinals is them listening.
A secret meeting.
I still don't get that part of it.
I don't understand. Not listening and not acting on your recommendations or demands are two very different things. So while the PFAA says, well, they don't listen, it's like, no, they heard you.
They said no.
They said no. Saying no is not listening.
Yeah, and I don't want to go rehash all of that, but I still am very confused about that whole situation of Brent doing a meeting with Dawn, maybe Dave, I don't know, idea. Pat not being aware, other PFAA members being aware, but saying that you're going to take this NDA.
Wait, other PFAA members were aware, but not Pat?
That's what it sounded like. And even so, like if you are meeting on behalf of the PFAA and you sign an NDA, that doesn't mean you can't share it with other PFAA members.
Well, you could say
that was thinly
veiled. Say there was something that I was in attendance for that I had to sign an NDA for, and that's all I'll say.
So all of that stuff rubs me wrong in that, like.
Well, it also seems weird that, there's a lot of weirdness about it.
So, we don't know all the conversations that's gone on between them. I think there is some type of double standard between how certain
double agents.
Yes.
Brent actually works for HQ.
No, that's definitely not the case.
Seated agent.
But
that's exactly how I'd want.
No,
you to
I think
it.
There is a different standard that CrossFit Games is being held to other comps.
Yeah, I think it should be held to a different.
But
though.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with John on this. You're the fittest on earth.
It's
whether
the
you want to. It's the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but
it's not a regular season game.
But if you're gonna complain about safety and say safety is the number one priority that all of these comps should have, and both SoCal and NorCal within weeks of each other had issues that could have resulted in an injury, they need to be put you need to hold them just to the same standard. That's my whole.
You're not wrong. Okay, that's fair.
I get what you were saying. I get what you were saying, but I think you're right, but I don't think it should be the same standard, right? I think you're right, but it shouldn't be expected for them to meet the game standards.
Well, you and I are speaking as if we worked for HQ. We would want to hold ourselves to a standard that's above everyone else.
Correct.
And I think it does deem that standard. But if you work for the PFAA, you should be blind to whoever is throwing the party. Everybody should be on the same.
That's a fair argument. That's a fair argument.
Yeah. T-Bird, a member for 10 months. Emma not going to Rogue is a non-story. I agree with John. So she isn't going to Rogue. Not a big deal. No need to spotlight her for this.
Are you hungry, Brian? Because I got a nothing burger for you.
That's cute, John. That's cute. The three of you can go away. We're not doing this again. Sorry. I'm sorry. I will not report that Emma's not competing at Rogue, and I will not try to bring up that there might be an issue with what's going on with four of the top teen women in the sport taking time off. We're just going to bypass that. Thank you, T-Bird. Bernard Coley, however, responded to T-Bird and said, I think Spin is right. I'm a big fan of Bernard. There is no judgment on good or bad, but with travel
this week on the show, Bernard.
Yeah. The reasons for not going gets narrowed down. So thank you, Bernard, for defending me.
Keep hyperextending your shoulders, Bernard.
At least somebody did.
He's so far through. My shoulders won't even do that.
It's very flexible. And at Dalton Bland, the problem with John is that he is usually right. So it's a self-fulfilling prophecy for him. But then I heard his popularity opinions, and he is simply so out of touch to us sometimes CrossFitters. So we will find out.
We will find out in the over-under if I'm in touch with the CrossFit community or not.
That's right. That's right.
Turns out he's not.
We'll find out. We'll also find out if Tyler actually knows how to set any lines.
I want to address this really quick. Can we bring up RB's comment real quick? This has been asked about 15 times. So somebody asked me if I had a car bed that I slept in. And I'm gonna let you know, when I was like 5, I did have a NASCAR bed. Okay?
I wanted one of those so bad.
I had one of those car beds. So let's lay that at rest. Okay.
There's no way that's not the best sleep you've ever had in your life in a NASCAR bed.
I don't want to see those comments come up again. Ka-chow. All right.
All right. What you guys have all been waiting for, didn't know it was coming. Games Mountain.
Here we go.
Where do you want to start, John? Do you want to start?
I think we started at the base camp. We always start at base camp.
Always start at base camp.
You got it. Here we go.
If we know the top, it's still going to be, there's going to be some surprises at each level for sure.
All right. So what is base camp, John? Explain to those who may not be familiar with the
Okay. So the mountain is it 15 or 20, Ryan?
What?
You made me change the rows a little bit. So I forgot how many total.
It's like 20 some odd people in the.
It's like the top 20 fittest people in the world.
Male and female.
Not just 20 fittest men or 20 fittest women. People, period.
I think it's 28 in total are on the mountain.
All right. The top 28, the actual fittest people in the world. I do not grade by sex. If you are we'll take Tia, for example. Shocker. I'm going to surprise y'all. She's at the top because she's fitter than all the men out there.
Spoiler alert.
She's fitter than all the men and nobody's close. But if the next if the next 20 people are all guys and the rest of the women suck, it's going to be a mountain of men with Tia at the top. Okay, clip it.
John likes mountains of men.
But I'm not saying that's the case. But the mountain is the 28 fittest people in the world. Now, base camp is people that they are not there yet, or they've been there but they've fallen down the mountain at some point. But I can see them breaking into the top 28 depending how the season goes. They want to climb the mountain, but they got to either beat somebody or somebody else has to fall down with reckless abandon. Amanda Barnhart is a great example. She had a bad accident and fell down the mountain and broke her shoulder. I think she tore both of her labrums going down that mountain and hasn't found her way back to base camp. So without further ado, these are people that I think in the future could climb the mountain at some point or are on their way.
They're prepping.
Let's bring up.
All right, we're gonna bring up the first four, all women: Maddie Sturt, Gracie Walton, Abigail Donut, and Claudia Gluck.
Yep. And you notice I got the 2 rookies that I think did very well at the games. They're not a part of the fittest people in the world quite yet. And this is the elite of the elite. If you make the CrossFit Games, you're one of the fittest people in the world. This is the 1% of those people. This is like wherever you go, you're the most BA thing walking around. Okay. And Claudia Gluck, Gracie Walton, they still have a little bit to go before they can be on the mountain. I had Gracie on the mountain in 2024. You got beat by Emily Rolfe and Bethany Flores, so I have to drop you down a little bit. I'm sorry, Gracie. I just have to drop you down a little bit. You're still hanging around. You're bottom tier of the mountain or you're at base camp. You can't make your mind up if you're ready to climb or not. That's okay. You'll figure it out.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised you don't think that she's going to climb up that mountain.
Oh, I think she can climb. I think she's a bad girl, but she is a bad girl. She's got to make up her mind. She can't look. You lost to Emily Rolfe in a biking burpee workout. I get that there was a run at the end.
All girls, no guys in base camp.
No. Base camp's 8 people.
We got 4 guys coming.
Okay. I got 4 guys at the top, 4 girls at the bottom, and the bottom top doesn't matter. They're all in the same camp. Maddie Sturt had the best year she's ever had. I would have never had Maddie Sturt on the mountain even in 2018. She wouldn't be on the mountain, but she's looking like she's ready to climb. She's looking like she's ready to. I think Jay has a great influence on her. Jay's a avid hiker, loves climbing mountains. Never found his way to the top of one, but he likes being on them. And yeah, so Maddie's looking ready, like she's ready to take off. Abby Domit, same thing. Thought like she looked like she was ready to scale it. Games came, wasn't ready to scale. So she's still at base. She's at base camp. All right, 4 guys.
All right.
Well, I want to push back a little bit. Claudia Gluck, I'm okay with because she continues to surprise me. Domit's got one more year. And then next year, if she does the same thing, I'm going to push against you hard. Gracie's in an appropriate place. And then Maddie Sturt, my question to you is, did she get lucky this year, or are we going to see a change?
So, and I'm going to tell y'all, I think Rogue will heavily influence the original mountain placements. Sneak peek. You know, if Maddie Sturt shows out at Rogue and she beats, and it's not literally, like, I don't care what place she gets. It's just about the people that you beat in the same competition for me, right? Me and Spin argue about this all the time. Paige Powers wins Wadapalooza. He thinks she's the next thing coming. She didn't beat anybody. Nobody was there, right? It's about who you beat.
She finished top 10 after that year of Wadapalooza.
And where is she now? Pregnant. I don't want to hear it. Anyway,
that has nothing to do with it.
So, Rogue will be a big time for her, and James will be a big time. You are who you are. Like, you are where you, like, you've earned your right to be on the mountain. I cannot drop you. The Games was not a fluke. All right. And if you're trash at Rogue, the Games was a fluke. I expect that to be the case for some people. Well, we're not there yet.
Maddie?
We're not. Maddie? No, not quite Maddie, but we're not there yet. We'll get to those people.
All right.
As far
Colton
as
Mertens,
Colton
Saxon
Mertens.
Panchik,
Yeah, go ahead.
Victor Hoffer, and Masters champion 35 to 39-year-old age group, Will Morad.
If anybody watched the Masters competition, Will Morad looked amazing. Will Morad looked so fit. I think Will Morad would have been top 20 at this year's Games, maybe top 15. I see him and Saxon on like equal levels. Saxon probably should be on the mountain, but you just have to be better, Saxon. I just need to see something other than I'm just good at everything and not great at anything. You're a worse Justin Medeiros, and like, I just can't. He's got to do something really good in a competition for me to put him higher, because he's always there, but he's never like the guy that's doing stuff. Colton, self-explanatory. I shouldn't have to explain Colton. It was a travesty. He didn't make the Games last year. Every year before that, he was improving. If you just watch the latest Kill Taylor, he beat Taylor at a legless rope climb workout, legless rope climb and burpees. I think Colton is a monster.
Colton doesn't have to go to the Games to make money anymore.
No, he doesn't. No, he can just kill Taylor every couple of weeks. Colton's got more money than half the mountain just from killing Taylor. Like Taylor's the guy that just keeps respawning in a video game. You get money every time you kill him, and Colton's just waiting for him to respawn so we can kill him again.
We do need a Colton count, like
how many times Colton's
how much
killed
money
Taylor?
How much money he's made.
Gosh, have you seen that like Tom Cruise movie that I think it's Edge of Tomorrow, where he dies and you just got to keep getting better at fighting? I feel like that's Taylor.
Oh yeah,
with Colton. But anyway, I can't put Colton on the mountain until he does something. Winning NorCal is not something enough to put him on the mountain. You beat two guys that couldn't make the Games. If you win Crash, I'll put you on the mountain, because as we get to the mountain, finally, we're going to look at the first tier. And I'm going to formally announce this. This is my pick to win the Crash Crucible. Can we go to the bottom row of the mountain, please, Brian?
Yep. We're now on the mountain. Here we go. First row. Brooke Wells, not winning Crash. Emma Tall, Yellow Hosta. Chris Ibarra, it will be at Crash. Haley Adams, Paige Semenza, and our mountaineer, Jay Crouch.
Yeah, Jay Crouch, I feel like he just should always be on the mountain, but, he's kind of like the guy that just greets the real players. You know what I mean? The people who are going to scale the mountain.
Right up this way, everybody.
Yeah, he's the guy. Guys, it's right up here. And they're like, "Are you coming with?" I wish I could, but it's just not. I like it. I like it down here.
Nobody's going to hold this rope if I leave.
Listen,
so I gotta say,
9th through 13th place just feels real comfy to me. You know what I mean? Until you break that mold, Jay, I can't put you any higher, bro. I'm sorry. And you're the best one on this row, by the way, Jay. You're the best one.
The best one.
Yeah.
He holding it down.
Yeah. But he's still the bottom row. But he is the best one. Chris Ibarra, I think after he wins Crash, which I'm going to tell y'all right now, he's my pick. I think JR should write his name on the check right now. And I hope that pisses Colton off. I want Colton pissed off, and he's still going to get beat.
I can't wait to argue.
I'm telling
about
you
this
right
next week.
now, it's going to happen. And everybody's like, who the freak is Chris Ibarra? That's right. You have no idea who he is. All he did was in semifinals was Justin Medeiros' way in the semifinals. He was 5th place at everything. He is a worse Justin Medeiros. I know I just had Saxon down there, but it was his first year at the games, and he was 19th or 21st or something. He was right in the middle of the pack. Okay, hold on. Let me. I want to effort.
Arielle was 21st, I believe.
Hold on. Give me a minute. Give me a second. He was 19th at the games. Okay. On his first year, I think Chris is just like Justin, but he's on his ascension. Right? Like he's on, and I've talked about this as far as winning the game.
Is he 2019 Medeiros?
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Yeah, 2019 Medeiros. But and like it's going to be incredibly hard for Chris Ibarra to like get where he could win the games. And I don't think he'll ever get that good. I really don't. But I think because everything has to get better because he has no holes except top end strength, which that will come along. I mean, he did find it the clean event for him, but he's just going to get a little bit bitter.
The top end. Oh, that
the clean event.
Yeah.
And like he's on his way up. I think until he peaks out and he's like, well, this is as good as I am every year. Kind of like Cole Sager, Travis Mayer. They're always Saxon Panchik. They're always hanging around 10th spot. Jay Crouch a little bit better. He's always hanging around 9th spot, right? Like until he kind of like just evens out where like, this is how good I am. We don't know how good he's going to be. And I think he's going to just continue to rise. And that's why I have him. He's a bit of my shot in the dark in the mountain here. Okay. Like it was Hatfield last year. He's kind of my guy this year until somebody else shows up. Paige Semenza, I feel like we got to pay respect to Paige Semenza finally. I feel like we never talk about her. She's very athletic, but she doesn't really show up on anything that's like a home run hit. Like we never really think of her. She's sneaky fit, right? And
she's the female Ibarra or Medeiros.
I don't think so. I would not go that far because there is stuff she's bad at. She's just there's not enough. Like
she's
this
the
is
female
the quant.
She was bad at push pull 2.0.
No.
So she wasn't great on
Tyler hit it on the head. Tyler hit on the head. She's the female quant. Not as fit as quant, worse than quant, but she's the female Sam Quant. You never think of her, and then all of a sudden she's 8th place at the games, right?
9th place, but yeah.
And I realized this was her best year. I think Paige Semenza deserves to be on the mountain. We never give her credit for anything. We're giving her credit now. She's on the mountain. Haley Adams, I shouldn't have to explain it. Yellow Hosta has a lot of potential. Didn't really show up, but he's got a lot of potential. Emma Tall, shouldn't explain it. Brooke Wells, I think it's self-explanatory. I think these people, it's where I'd put them in the mountain. I don't have to explain them. Next row.
First, Seth, jump ship. I get to run the back end of Around the Whiteboard today. John and Seth agree on something. Pedro didn't give him any points for picking Ibarra. That's true. Pedro was Pedro was like giving out points left and right, and then he was just kind of stingy at times. So you never know.
He goes through moods,
He's moody.
Yeah. Well, when your son breaks your laptop, I'd be moody too.
He just looks up and sees it. He's like, shit.
All right, next row. We got Arielle Loewen. She spoke for herself. If she doesn't compete, she will drop. It is what it is.
An all-female row. Crazy.
And now this row right here is a row of the women we are accustomed to being top 10, being the women that can break into podium that we think, right? Except one for a reason. There's one girl's name missing. But the Alex Gazan, Danielle Brandon, Alexis Raptis, the top 10 group that just didn't show up at the games. I know Alexis Raptis battled back, but we expected more from those women. It didn't show up at the games. Programming had a lot to do with it. It's a weird games. We'll leave it at that. But these are the women we're accustomed to being the top 10 fittest women in the world. And then Bethany Flores and Emily Rolfe. The mountain is not biased. The mountain is fair. Okay? If it was just me personally, my rankings, what I think will happen next year, I don't think I'd have these two on the row, but you have to give them credit they did get third place and fourth place at the cardio games. So you have to give them credit. No matter how slow Emily rolled that ball, I cannot take her off of this row. I wanted to put Jay up there, but I can't do it. She podiumed at the CrossFit Games. Bethany Flores was fourth place, did really well too. I cannot drop them. The mountain is fair. I have to put them on the row with these women.
Just when I think I understand the mountain, I all of a sudden don't understand the mountain again. It's your mountain. What do you mean if you were to rank people?
If you told me like I have to make my predictions right now, 2025, what happens? They are not on par with these women, but they have accomplished something that they've earned this spot on the mountain.
So I want to know why you put Haley Adams below Arielle, Alex, Danielle, Alexis.
And Alexis, because do you know what the mountain is, Brian? You know what it's not?
Bias mountain.
No, do you know
fair.
What it's not?
It's fair. That's what it is.
Haley finished higher than all these women. It's not recency biased.
She didn't go to
the mountain is not the rankings, Brian. Okay? It's not the rankings.
Then what is it?
All right. I think these women are fitter than Haley Adams.
Do you know?
Bar none. Okay. I think Haley is very fit, but I think these women are ahead of Haley Adams currently. Not at the cardio games. If we go have a High Rocks, Haley's great. I'd put Haley above. This is the High Rocks mountain. Haley's right there with Tia. Okay. Probably not beating Tia, but she's right below Tia. Right. Next row.
Flores is strong.
I don't know if strong is the word I'd pick, but go
Mike Halpin's dog wants to live on a mountain alone. There you go. Dennis O'Leary. None of us do.
Next row. Next row. It's going to make
next
sense.
row.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go.
Alex's
hair is covering up all the letters. Sorry.
That's okay. All right. And this row is who I think has potential to be top 5. Okay. So like if next year, 2025, I think any 4 of these men could be in the top 5. Do I think it's likely? No. But I do think it's possible. Like potentially. I do think it's possible.
No.
I do think it's possible. I mean, Fikowski probably should be 5th place. Like he probably should be. I think Austin's going to make another jump. Obviously, everybody knows I'm on the Austin Hatfield train. I think Austin Hatfield is like I'm going to pick him to be top 5 next year. I'm telling you right now. I don't know who he's beaten. I haven't made my mind up, but we'll see. I mean, if he's trash at Wodapalooza, maybe not. But
do you think Quant can continue to hang on? So you have faith in Quant?
Quant's a guy like Paige Semenza. You can't not put him up there. Like all he does is just finish at a high spot in the games. Sam Quant is so fit and so like unrecognizable at the games. Like you never see him do anything unless and then some random echo bike event. He just smokes everybody. Like it's Sam Quant has earned his right at this spot. I think Sam Quant 100% could be top 5. Again, not likely, but it wouldn't surprise me.
90% of the time works every time.
All right, the unknown. $100. Thank you. I don't understand the logic of the mountain. Not a single one of these women, including Tia, could even make it to the games if they had to compete against the men without scaling the tests. How can you possibly argue any of them are fitter?
Fitter.
John, would you like to respond to the unknown?
The women obviously not the same weights. It's the women versus the women, the men versus the men. I'm not arguing.
It's a relative scale.
It's a relative
equality
scale.
Mountain.
Yeah. Yeah. This was a stupid comment. Yeah. Thank you for the $100. This was a stupid comment.
Equity Mountain.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. Yeah, this is
Emma Lawson. Let's talk about Emma Lawson really quick.
You don't have any fears.
The mountain is inclusive. Yeah,
guys,
you
do
feel
not
confident.
start calling this the DEI mountain. I swear to God, we will come out with Tia's Tower so quick if you freaking
Mountains
start calling
down.
this DEI mountain. I promise you. Oh man, I'm gonna come out with Tia's Tower, and it's gonna be a Section 8 complex. That's what's gonna happen. It's just all freaking these CrossFit impoverished people because Tia's dictating all the money. That's what's gonna happen. Let's talk about Emma Lawson. I believe in Emma Lawson. Okay. That's my 2025 spokesperson saying, I believe in Emma Lawson. I'm going to come out with a hat.
What do you know, John? What do you know about
I believe in Emma Lawson? I don't know anything about anything, but I believe in Emma Lawson. And I think Emma Lawson. She's going to
come back with that fire, huh?
I think Emma Lawson is fitter than every woman that's on the screen right now. I know it didn't show up in 2024.
Won't. But could be.
No. Emma Lawson should be podium.
Oh, that's the kiss of death right there.
Okay.
Too many expectations.
Yeah, that's about like me picking somebody, John.
Go ahead. Don't believe in her, Brian. You didn't believe in Vikowski. What happened to you there? Don't believe in her. If you don't believe in somebody, that gives me so much confidence that they're going to be great.
That's the kiss of life.
Welcome, Emma. You're welcome, Emma. You're welcome, Brent.
The second that you're out on somebody, that means they're about to be great. Please be out on Hatfield. Please be out on Hatfield. Please. All right, next one.
I don't see a name here yet.
Well, just wait. Be patient. Patience is a virtue. Grant.
All right. Here we go.
Bible.
Here we go. Next row. Getting a little bit higher on the mountain.
All right.
All guys. All dudes.
Yep. Now, I'm going to say these guys, we'll call this tier podium material. Okay. All four of these guys are capable of making it on the podium. The one that I feel least good about making it on the podium is this year's winner. I think Rogue is going to influence James Sprague's spot. If James Sprague, he doesn't have to win, but if he finishes in the realm of Patrick Vellner or Jeff Adler at Rogue, I probably will put him higher on the mountain because it confirms James Sprague's fitness. Do I think James Sprague made this colossal leap and he is the fittest man in the world in 2025? He's going to win the CrossFit Games? No, I don't. I think there's probably 7-8 guys fitter than James Sprague at any given moment. But he did win the CrossFit Games and he beat everybody. And if you chose not to compete, that's on you. I don't care. You chose not to compete. You can't argue. James Sprague won the CrossFit Games. He has earned his right to be on this row. If he finishes top 3 in Rogue, he'll go even higher. I don't care who beats him in this row because Rogue is not made for James Sprague. The Games was made for James Sprague, right? This year's Games.
Are you saying that the Games is actually a 2-part test this year? 1, the CrossFit Games, to be finished by 2, the Rogue Invitational.
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying this year's Games, I just think the programming was so bad at this year's Games. I don't think it was a well-balanced test. I think Rogue, which is traditionally strength biased, I see what you're saying. I see.
I knew it was coming.
I see what you're saying. Okay. Here. Okay, here's what I'll say. After Rogue,
we'll know who the fittest on earth is.
The mountain probably won't change a ton. It will still change a little bit, but not a ton. Does that make sense?
What happens if Sprague wins Rogue?
John's brain will explode.
No, it won't. If James Sprague wins the Rogue Invitational, then without doubt, he is the fittest man in the world, and all of these people are underneath him. And the only person who can even say they can touch James Sprague is
Jason Hopper,
is Queen Toomey.
Jason beat him in one-on-one, dude. Jason's got his number.
That's cool. I'm glad Hopper can beat him in one event in a weird format. All right, Jason Hopper can't even beat Dallin Pepper in fantasy football. Get out of here. Get out of here.
It was a tie. Larry Young. Tyler with the mic drop. Well done.
Good job, Tyler.
I mean, it will be interesting to aggregate the scores and see.
It will be. Rogue is going to heavily influence the mountain. And I think it's because of the programming at the games. But typically it wouldn't. But this year, absolutely it will.
All right. Moving on up. The air's getting thinner now.
All right. And now these people, Gabby McGowan, similar situation as Sprague. I might think Emma Lawson is fitter than Gabby McGowan. But honestly, it's very close. Yeah, I think Gabby McGowan would have got second place, even if if everybody competed. I think Gabby McGowan was still gotten second place. The way the first event went for Laura, and and the way the games was programmed, there was nothing Laura was going to there were no events where Laura was just going to beat everybody, right? Because there was so much running. And Gabby is a little bit like Paige. I don't think Gabby gets a lot of respect. And I mean, partially my fault. And this is me giving her respect. I think Gabby McGowan has earned her right at the top of the, almost at the peak of the mountain. She can see the peak. She can see who is on the top. I think she's earned her way here. Ricky Garrard and Roman
before you move to the men.
Okay.
Do you think that Gabby, we don't know what her and Laura, what that relationship is like. I imagine they're not trained together. I think Gabby's still Krypton. I don't believe Laura is. Could you envision like that split, right? Like Laura was almost holding her back, right? Because Laura has outperformed her year after year after year.
Mm-hmm.
To quote Jordan Peterson talking about Abraham leaving his home, you need to leave the home every now and again to father nations. That's what Laura's got to do, or Gabby's got to do.
Gabby's got to father a nation.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
the CrossFit Games.
It's her hero myth, John. She has to slay the dragon. And the only way to do that is to leave home.
Okay. And I'll tell you this, if Gabby beats Laura at Rogue, then the second and third row are going to be a little bit of a swapperoo.
There you go.
You want to show the second row?
Games 2.0.
Do you want to talk about
I mean,
I want to hear more about Roman than anything.
Sure. I mean, I think Roman and Ricky both got hurt in the middle of the games, and both of their last day was kind of like they're just getting through it. Yeah. And I mean, Roman was honestly on pace to maybe win it, and then he got hurt, and then he's like it was like he just wasn't good anymore. You know, if you're
Roman's got his work cut out for him at Rogue. He's been running that mouth.
Yeah.
Back from her.
I don't think Rogue's never been historically his best event.
Right. No, I mean, I honestly don't think. I think the game suits Roman more than any other competition, more than Rogue, more than Wodapalooza, any other competition, the games, because Roman just doesn't have ring muscle ups is his worst event, and he's just not. It's not like a huge hole. He's just not as good as the top guys at it. You know what I mean? Everything else, he's good. And he's got so much home runs. So I don't think you can take a lot of it from this games with Ricky and Roman, both of them. I just don't think you can take a lot of them. What you thought of them before, I would think of them again this year. You do need to give credit where credit is due, and that's why the second row looks like how it looks. That's why Dallin Pepper is the highest man on the mountain right now and the front runner to win the CrossFit Games in 2025. Now, again.
Go Dallin.
Again.
Go Dallin.
Pick up the bar, Dallin.
Again, I think Rogue will influence this mountain 100%. But
Dallin's not going down.
Dallin has improved every single year. And what's held Dallin back is his aerobic fitness. He's the in-gym fitness, the CrossFit fitness, the workout fitness. He's always been very good, very good. But he improved his aerobic capacity so well this year. I was so impressed with his running, and he still needs to improve more. But if he gets if he improves again, if he got his running to the level of Hopper, which it's not far off, but it is still, I think Hopper's still a better runner. But if he improved it to that level and just shored up a couple things, I honestly, I think he's the same. I'd put him in the group of like Roman, Ricky, and Jeff, and I'd put Dallin in that group, and it'd be like a tier of 4, and that's who I think could win the CrossFit Games is those tier of 4. But he was second place at the games. He beat everybody. Again, Rogue will influence this list a lot. Right now, he's earned his spot to be the top of the mountain as far as the men go. That's where I'm putting him.
You know what's funny?
Papa Young, real quick. Don't happen that soon. Laura is capped.
I don't know what you mean by that.
It's $1.99. It's fine. Go ahead there, Tyler.
What I was going to say was, you remember when Khalipa found out about Chris Hinshaw and he made all those tremendous gains and everybody all of a sudden like just went towards Hinshaw, like overnight, everybody was doing aerobic capacity. No one has done that with Torres. My boy Torres is.
I think Torres is selective. I think Torres would be like, I'm coaching 3 people, and you're not one of those 3 people.
Well, what I'm saying is, I bet Brute didn't get the notoriety that they deserve for him just overhauling Pepper like that.
They won. I mean, I think James Sprague is more of a success story than Dallin Pepper. I mean, Dallin, I do think is improved. Like, I mean, nobody saw James coming, but for James to win the games. James has achieved more in the sport than Dallin Pepper has, which is wild to say. Right. But I agree with what you're saying, but I think James is more of a success story than Dallin at this point. Dallin is the guy to beat, I think, in my opinion. I think he's beatable before he's, feeling too good about himself. I do think he's very beatable, but I would put him in the 4 guys that I would pick has a chance to win the games. And that'd be Ricky, Roman, Jeff, and Dallin. Those are my 4. And right now, I think he's the guy to beat. We'll see what happens at Rogue and Wodapalooza in these competitions. But I think he's earned his spot at the top as far as the men go.
And at the very top, no surprise. We could have started with this, but it's
Tia Toomey. And I mean, we don't got to talk about it much. As far as Laura being second, I think Laura would have finished like 6th at this CrossFit Games, but it's more about the programming, why she's finishing 6th rather than her fitness. I think Laura is the second fittest woman in the world, kind of by a wide margin, especially if there's not strict handstand push-ups. But, strict handstand push-ups, we can make an argument with a lot of people, but I still think Laura is hands down the second fittest woman in the world.
Didn't the Rogue Invitational qualifier have strict handstand push-ups? Did I misremember that this year?
I don't remember like a heavy amount of strict handstand push-ups.
The Q. I hate how they call it the Q because I feel like nobody knows that it's called that. They only had it was AMRAP 15 minutes, 45 double unders, 9 strict wall facing handstand push-ups.
Well, spin, that's okay. That's
wall.
What are you saying?
Also a whole different machine. You can.
I'm just saying, like
more.
They use. I mean,
they usually handstand push-ups are usually at Rogue for sure. Yes.
Yeah.
And it's not my prediction on who's going to win Rogue, but yes, there usually is.
They like that. They like the strict. They like deficit. There it is. The Games Mountain 2025 Games Mountain. Maybe you understand it. Maybe you don't. Maybe
doesn't
John
matter.
understands it. Maybe he doesn't.
No one gets it, but it's provocative.
Fine. It's relative. It's equitable. Men and women all on the same mountain.
Gets the people going.
It does. It does. All right. Give me a second here. I'm going to turn on the call-in number. And that way we can play over under. That's right.
Oh, snap.
All right. Give me a second here.
Over under brought to you by Paper Street Coffee.
Paper Street Coffee.
Get your Paper Street Coffee now. Both order online and stop by their store in Nashville at Proven HQ.
That's right. All right. Here we go. All right. Over under is a new game. You saw I posted some surveys or a survey out there a couple days ago. And you had to answer 10 questions. The actual answer doesn't technically matter. What we're going to do here, when I turn on the call-in number, the first person that calls in will challenge John Young to see if they can tell if the actual answer is over or under Tyler's line. So,
and the line that I set has to be about what I think the split is.
Right. You're trying to get as close as you can to make it as tough as you can for whoever's going to answer. So an example would be, how many points did James Sprague end up with at the 2024 CrossFit Games? Tyler, where would you set the line of how many points he earned at the 2024 CrossFit Games? There were 9 events. It was not 900.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I'm going off normal. I would say 680.
John, would you say over or under?
I would say over. If I had to guess, it was either 805 or 806 off the top of my head.
Yeah, that's probably a bad line.
What was it?
It was exactly 806. So in that case, John would have
good luck, everybody. Good luck.
So here we go. It is now live.
I'm glad
first person to call in.
I got my bad one out of the way.
You can't put Tyler on the spot. He needs time to prepare.
Got to prep.
Well, we'll see. He's going to be able to put on the spot because nobody knows exactly what question he'll be putting the over-under on.
Yeah, none of these are really CrossFit Games related like that. But I mean,
well, it's fun. Like I was doing that with Crash the other day. I was like, I should know by now, like how points kind of shake out on the leaderboard with how many events there are, and I still can't do it very well.
All right, we got our caller. We got our caller. Caller, hello.
Hi, guys.
Who we got?
Hello, this is Meredith.
Meredith.
Hello, Meredith.
Thanks for joining.
Hi.
Are you a connoisseur of the CrossFit Games? Do you know more than John Young?
Well, I would never purport to know more than John Young, but I probably know better than John Young.
There we go.
Okay.
All right, Meredith. Do you understand the game?
I'm going to try my best.
All right. So there's 10 questions. You're going to alternate between the two. So if you want to go first, you'll get the answer, the question. Before I reveal it, John will then say if he agrees or disagrees with your answer as a tiebreaker. So,
okay.
All right. Do you want to go first or do you want to go second? You'll both get the same number.
Yeah, let's straight into the fire. Let's do it.
You want to do it? All right. Here we go. First question was asked, what is your favorite training shoe brand? The options were Born Primitive, Nike, Rad, Reebok, Strike Movement, Tier, or none of the above. Tyler, you're going to set the line.
Mm-hmm.
What percentage chose Reebok as their favorite brand?
I'm going to set the line at 23%.
23%. Meredith did
under.
I agree. I'm going to say under.
The answer was
can we guess
22.57.
Oh wow.
I didn't wait.
Yes.
Tyler, beautiful line. Beautiful line, Tyler.
It's too close. Right. I need to adjust a little bit. I should have said like 18.
Hey, I don't like how my score is all little and her score is all
So the
big.
red score you see there is the official score. The gray is the tiebreaker. So if you guys tie after 10, the last one is a tiebreaker. And then I have one last question if that comes to this. All right, John.
Yep.
Which of these YouTube channels is your favorite? This is of those who participated. Hiller.
Not yours, actually.
The Savant Podcast. Coffee Pods and Wads. Get with the Programming. Talking Elite Fitness. Or Be Friendly. Tyler, what percentage chose Hiller as their favorite podcast?
30%.
30%. John,
under.
over or under? Under. Meredith, are you agreeing with John at under 30% for Hiller or over?
I will disagree.
Disagree. Well,
She's going with the over.
She's going over. It is 24.9.
Let's go.
24.64. John earns a point. Meredith.
Yeah, Tyler, your lines are amazing right now. I can't believe.
Well, they're not though. I'm getting close, but I need to set it like as the game master. I need to set it better.
We'll see.
I think you're doing pretty good, man.
All right, Meredith. Meredith, you are up.
Okay.
Who will win Crash Crucible on the women's side? Crash
John's
Crucible
going, so it's
for
going
the
to be
women.
Crass.
Caroline Stanley, Kyra Milligan, Olivia Kerstetter, Fee Sagafi, or none of the above. Tyler, the line is what percentage chose Fee Sagafi to win Crash Crucible?
17%.
Meredith, under or over 17%?
Oof. Under.
I'm going over.
Meredith
There we go.
wins with 12.77.
Oh, wow. Good job, Meredith.
Right,
you people are
doing
wrong. Fisa Goffey's going to win.
I'm on Team Caroline Stanley to win that. So
I voted the same way.
Girl do well.
So Olivia Kerstetter is leading with 37% of the votes.
And y'all are on crack because that's the handstand push-up event alone she's out of it. She's out.
All right.
You know what's sad? Okay, I think I should get a point retroactively when Fisa Goffey wins because I'm calling Fisa Goffey to win. So
that's not the game, John.
That's not how it works. That's not how it works. All right, John, you're up first.
I don't like picking how dumb people are.
This is a great one for John to answer. This is a great one for John to answer.
All right.
At the 2024 CrossFit Games, how many events would you, John Young, have not finished last place?
Oh, man.
0,
man.
1, 2, or 3 times you would not finish last.
All right.
Tyler.
This is a little unfair. I know the answer.
Tyler, the line is what percentage answered 0 that John would take last place every single time?
I'm going to set it at 9.
9%. John, over or under 9%?
If it's not under, then this is retarded because there is a lifting event. Like then I have 10% that are haters because that is stupid.
So is that your answer? Under?
I know 3 events. I know 3
high.
events for sure I would not be last place, but I'm saying under.
Meredith, do you agree with under for John?
Here's the thing. I know how people feel about John. And so they were voting with their feelings, not their brains. And so it's definitely more than 9%. They were hating on you, John.
Meredith is right. She gets the tiebreaker point. 20.2% said that John would not win one event.
1 in 5, John. 1 in 5.
For the record,
the most.
This is not knowing more knowledge than me. This is dumb.
41% said that John would get lucky one time. All right, Meredith. Will Dave Castro lead the sport team in 2025? What percentage, Tyler, said yes, Dave will be back in 2025?
I'm going to set it at 55.
55. Meredith, over, under 55%.
This is mean. I'm going to say, this is me voting my feelings. I hope it's over 55.
Over 55. John, do you agree?
Yes, I'm going to agree with Meredith.
The answer, 61% of respondents said that yes, Dave.
If I'd have said 58,
will be back.
What would you have said?
Good job, folks.
If I'd have said 58.
Good job to the people.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, John, we're going to the men's side at Crash. Who will win Crash? Now, I've left out Chris Ibarra, so apologies. But Of
well,
the three,
I'm not picking the right answer. I'm picking how dumb people are. This is retarded. But go ahead.
Colton Mertens, Taylor Self, Nick Matthew, or where Chris DeBar would fall in, none of the above. Tyler, you're setting the line at what percentage said Taylor Self will win Crash?
Ooh.
John?
I'm waiting for Tyler's line.
I'm gonna say 58.
58% chose Taylor to win.
Under.
That's the line.
Under 58%. Meredith, do you agree with John?
I agree. Under.
Very much under. That was Tyler's absolute worst.
Dude, Colton Mertens is going to have the most people. Colton Mertens would have over 50 people.
I guess I just because I set that line on.
How many times has he killed Taylor?
On Heat One's Instagram, I set that line of Colton plus 20 points in the overall and Taylor, and it was like 30. It was 33-67 was the split.
I don't think
I screwed that up. I'm sorry.
Taylor came in at 19.69%. Colton took in 70% of the votes.
Yeah.
That's the people's champ.
That's right. All right, Meredith, back to you. What percentage of our viewers, those who voted in the survey, wear lifting shoes? Lou Jajun, code SPIN, save 10% during a weightlifting session. Tyler, what percentage over under do wear? So what percentage wear lifters during a weightlifting session?
72%.
72%. All right. Meredith, over or under 72% wear lifters during a weightlifting session?
Under.
Under. John, do you agree?
I can't get a point correct if she's wrong.
No, you just get a tiebreaker point.
Okay. Then I'm going to play the game here and say under.
Yes, they are both under. 43% wear lifters. 56% do not.
That one's tough.
I do think you should
people...
make it. You should make it if somebody gets it wrong, like if we disagree, the other person can still get a point.
No, so the problem with that is that
John, why are you trying to steal points from me?
Yeah,
that's what it is.
You can start gaming it that way. If you had a lead.
I'm sorry,
you can game it this way.
Ones.
Go ahead.
My thought on that is how many people do weightlifting only sessions? And so I was like, oh, a lot of people like. I think that would be a hard question to answer.
Why?
I mean,
if you just do it like snatch before the Metcon, do you break out the lifters
that counts
for your snatch?
to you as a okay.
Hey guys, I just saw this. I just want to tell you guys this. I know we're in the middle of something. I'll tell you later. Never mind. Just keep going.
Stop wasting Meredith's time there, John.
We used to play tanks.
Yeah. Go ahead. All
right, John, you got to get this to stay in it.
Okay, I'm ready.
My line's better.
All right. Where does James Sprague finish at the Rogue Invitational?
Oh yeah, here we go.
Tyler, you are setting the line at what percentage say Sprague will finish in the bottom 10? So the answer, the options were podium, top 5, bottom 10, or top 10.
20%.
40% say bottom
20.
10. 20%.
20, not 40.
John, 20% over under.
I'm going to say under.
Under. Meredith, do you agree?
This is how many people voted that he would finish in the bottom 10?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And you said under 20%, John?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
I'll say over.
It is 15.36%.
Let's go.
John stays in the game.
Son of
I'm just glad I was close.
All right.
After I said it, I was like, that might be a little high.
Actually, 54% think that Sprague will be the top 10. 3% say he'll be on the podium. There you go.
He's got a 3% shot to be over Allen next mountain.
Meredith, this is to win it. You get this right, it is over.
No pressure, girl.
This is my favorite question.
I gotta set the line right.
Who would win in hand-to-hand combat, John Young or Taylor Self? Tyler, what percentage think JY would win?
After the CrossFit Games question, it makes me rethink it a little bit. You know what I mean? Because again, I know the right answer, but
18%.
18%.
Oh
Meredith,
God, that's
over or under
line, bro.
18%.
Over.
You gave
Over.
Meredith the game. That is not fair.
What would you say, John?
I would say it's a solid, like, I give Taylor a 20% chance he would beat me in a fight.
That's not the game, though. Go ahead.
I would say over as well.
The answer is over, but it's not by a lot. It is 20% said John Young would win. Meredith goes 5 for 5.
I'm more upset with the people. I'm happy for you, Meredith. You get
Good
coffee.
job, Meredith.
Good job, girl. I'm upset with the people. You guys,
Meredith.
y'all need to be honest with yourselves. This is getting ridiculous. I don't mind getting hate in the comments, but like, y'all need to be for real.
Meredith, the winner of the first ever over under, beating John 5-3.
Good job.
The last
Meredith.
one isn't even necessary. Meredith,
we should do a pay-per-view and like let's box the way Hebner and Bridges did. You think Taylor would be down for that? You think he'd do it?
You got to wrestle. I don't think.
I'm good with the Octagon. We can do whatever he wants to do. We could do it.
there you go. Meredith, send me a DM and I'll get you in touch with Paper Street Coffee. So
That sounds
thanks,
awesome.
Meredith.
It's really fun. Thanks so much, guys.
thank you for calling in, Meredith, and enjoy your $100 gift card to Paper Street Coffee, paperstcoffee.com. All right. Thank you, Meredith.
Good job, Meredith.
Good. Congratulations.
Thank you, John Young. Good job to you.
I don't want to hear it. Get out of here. Get out of here, Meredith.
All I want to say is that, John, I screwed up 3 of those lines, and you only have 3 points.
You gave her the game with that. I don't. That was.
I think I gave you those 3 points.
John, nobody gave me that game. I just beat you. Just
You
do
did.
gotta be better, son.
You did.
gotta
You're
be
right.
better.
You're right. You're right.
All right. There we go. Thank you, Meredith.
All right, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Have a good one,
Bye.
girl.
There you go. Over, under.
I'll get better.
We need
That
better.
was that was tough. Because not only do you have to think like, oh, what do people predict? Then you got to think about what is John going to say.
No,
It's tough.
we do not need to put me in the questions anymore because the people clearly are not honest when I'm in the question. And if they are, y'all are more retarded than I thought you were.
We had 716 people participate in the survey.
Telling
Oh
people
my God.
I'm not going to get last in that clean event. Yellow Hosta can't even clean 275, and they're going to tell me I'm going to get last in that clean event. That's
It's about speed, John. It's about speed, not strength.
preposterous.
The people vote right here, John.
I'm fast, man.
Other than your crash men prediction, which was absolute trash, you were pretty close, everyone.
Yeah.
Oh,
Appreciate
you're the lines? Yeah,
The lines?
the lines were
Yeah.
crazy good. Crazy good.
Like you were within 5, I think, every time, except for your Taylor one, which was just atrocious.
that. I have a bias. I can't help it.
So there you go. I like the game. Pretty fun.
It was a good game. I give it 10.
All right. As you heard, John knows information we don't.
I know
That
nothing.
the investigation results are coming out on October 7th.
I know
Don
nothing.
right here looks like he's saying, y'all got any weed?
Who, Don?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why that hits me that way, but it does.
I want y'all to know I don't know anything. I might have had to sign an NDA, but I don't know anything.
We don't know anything.
Why
either.
we don't
But
know.
if when the investigation comes out, obviously people like Arielle Loewen are trying to figure out what to do. Here we go. Before we do that, T-Bird, how would you do, John, after all the other events?
In a lifting event, I'd be fine. Like
He'd sandbag all the others and then come
no,
back.
I tell you, no, I'd be on. I'm not making it past the swim. I can't. I straight up can't do that event. But if I'm allowed to come in on the second event, or like you just, after my run, just like, hey guys, I'm last. Like it's, we get it. I'm last, right? Yeah. Like cap me up. We're good to go. It would not matter. That bag sprint event, I'm not coming last in that. The clean event, not coming last in that. I did firestorm at our gym. I was almost last in that. So,
but you weren't.
But I wasn't, and it was the third event. I did beat 2 people. I thought I would beat way more than that. If you haven't done that, Tyler, you should try that event.
I'm a little too nervous to do
it. It is wicked. I just, just send it, man. Last round, you'll just, you can die in the last round. And I got through 2 rounds in 2 minutes. My goal was like sub 3 because that would have been top. That would have been top like 15 or something. And I thought I could do it. The amount of death that last round brought upon me. I don't think my RPMs got over 60 on the last bike. It was ridiculous. And I ended up being like 330 or something like that. Well, I beat 2 people. So, yeah.
There you go.
So if you want to say I wouldn't have done well in that one with the second event, that's fine. But I know for sure 2 and just most likely 3.
I think I voted 2.
Yeah. So on Coffee Pods and Wads, they talked about it. They were talking about, what do you think the investigation yields? Like, what is the fallout from it? We have a few days, according to John, when that happens.
Hey, I had a question for you. If it like we get like the investigation results or whatever, like whatever we get something
Monday at 2 p.m.
on Monday. Am I gonna get a text in my phone like
maybe?
Like what the freak are you talking to?
You're
gonna hop in my phone real quick. like
if I were HQ, I would not do it on the 7th just to spite you.
Just after Chad, it's starting to stack up a little bit.
Tyler, if we're gonna make a prediction, you're great at over under. What do you think comes of this investigation? First of all, what do you think the investigation comes out at? Like what is it actually?
Over under the 7th?
No.
It's over.
I want it to come out on the 7th. Even if it's not anything, it's just Don saying something. I'm be like, that's what I was talking about.
That's what I need.
Yeah.
What's the question?
What do you think the investigation actually says? Like, does it actually say anything? Is it like?
I think it's gonna just say like. What did they state? What the purpose of the investigation was?
No,
that's a great question.
It seems obvious, right? But we know Lazar died, so he's not investigating that. And we know that they're not going to investigate Lazar's body. That's what an autopsy
I would
does.
say it's probably were the right things in place to avoid something like this happening, or what happened such that people were not in the right position or not able to be there to attempt to rescue him.
It'll probably be on the conservative side of negligence.
Do you
whatever they find will be shy enough away that it's like they're going to get spanked a little, and this is what I think will be doctored. This is not actually what I think they'll find. This is what I think doctored, communicated. Yes, what is communicated will be just short. Will be a little conservative of negligence, right? Regardless of what is actually found. It's not going to quench everyone's thirst that is a little bit bloodthirsty right now.
Do you agree, John?
Does that answer your question?
A little bit. I want to hear what John thinks. We'll see.
I kind of agree with that. I kind of think, like, I think what Tyler said, like, what are we investigating? Like, I think they will come out with some kind of statement and be like, this is what we know. This is what we don't know or whatever. And like, this is, unless they go like, this is the conclusion of our investigation, like it's over, we're that like this is what's going to happen, that's it. Short of that, I think we're just going to have more questions than answers. I do think we'll have like a couple things answered. What that is, I don't know. Maybe like how CrossFit is moving forward. That'd be nice, right?
It won't be just answers. It will be, there was lacks found in the process. There was holes found. And as thus CrossFit is going to make these decisions, they're going to implement these processes. We will not just get, oh yeah, they totally screwed it. Bad. That's not what's going to happen.
Yeah. Like I think it'll be a lot of words that don't say a lot.
Lots of pages.
No, you get what I'm saying though? Like
a 40-page document that could be said in 4 words.
Yes. Yes.
Do you think we'll actually see the 40-page document?
No. Isn't CrossFit paying for the independent investigation?
Well, I'm sure somebody is paying for it.
If it's independent, it would only benefit them to publish it.
Would it?
Unless it's really bad, then it wouldn't.
All right. So let's say they do publish it. Is it they just drop the investigation and that's it? Does Don address?
That's what I'm saying. I think we will get answers to a couple of questions that we might have had, but then ultimately we'll just have.
What questions do we have?
I don't know, man.
We'll
have answers to questions we didn't even know.
That's not going to happen. They're not going to come out and say, "Oh well, you guys didn't even know there was an anaconda in the pond." So that was a problem.
They're
not going to say shit like that. If there was a sniper in the bush that was looking to take people out, they're not going to talk about it.
You're right. I don't know, man. All I know is October 7th. We are going to hear colors and see sounds, and that's it.
What do you think, Spin?
I think they have to release the whole thing. I think if they don't,
what is it? What are they releasing?
That's the problem. It's like,
I think it'll be heavily redacted because of
what will be heavily redacted.
Who was involved? Like, because they have to talk to the people on the paddle boards who are volunteers or whoever they were that weren't. I don't think CrossFit employees. I don't think those people.
So let's go through the steps of this. Accusation number 1 that we care about: were the people on the paddleboard volunteers? Were they trained?
I don't care about volunteers, but were they trained?
Were they trained? Yes or no? They're going to say probably no. Next, who cares?
Well, if they weren't trained, then it is.
Who cares? And not that it doesn't matter. In that we already sort of knew this.
Yeah. But if they were trained, though, then fault lies with those people. Yes.
An independent investigation to tell us something we already knew. Okay, continue.
It confirms it, though.
Confirms what we already knew.
Yeah, but
all right. So let's say it does. It comes out. It puts some blame on CrossFit. I think I agree with Tyler. That's not going to come out, and it's going to be like there's no emergency activation plans. They didn't test anything. They told people not to save people. Like all this crazy stuff. Like I don't think it's ever going to come out something like that. What is the community like? Is there any chance that we don't just even fracture more? Because I feel like there's people on either side, right? Like I don't want to say that they're on CrossFit's side, but they're not willing to say it's CrossFit's fault yet. And it sounds like just even within the athlete community, based on Arielle speaking, like there aren't, there's definitely two different sides, right?
Yeah. Oh man.
Is there any scenario that comes through? Is there any scenario that comes through where we can walk away and say, all right, let's hold hands and go forth into 2025?
I mean, I think you can choose that.
Okay, well, maybe. Okay, so maybe this is beneficial. CrossFit, say the report is very bad. They're negligent on every account. is it valuable for CrossFit to release that to the public?
No.
Things that don't seem valuable sometimes are.
It depends. Like if they're like, hey, there was negligence everywhere. We are firing everybody that there was negligence on. We have a new team. It's a much bigger team. That's for you, Spin.
You need a big team.
And we're going to move forward with the CrossFit Games, and it's going to look like the CrossFit season, and it's going to look like this. If it's a very bad report, but then that's the game plan moving forward,
everybody's happy.
I think everybody's on board with it.
They got the blood that they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And
so a very bad report is the best thing for CrossFit.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not rooting for that. I think if it's there was negligence on 2 people and they were not trained, and it's this person, and it's like it's whoever's fault you want to say it is. We're taking these steps to make sure that something like that could never happen again. Even if it's like nobody's getting fired, nothing's changing. If they like come out and say, we're going to take X, X, and X steps where this will never happen again. There's going to be 1 lifeguard designated to 4 people for every swim, or whatever, however you want to do it. Then I think people can be like, okay, like it should
is that
be like
enough
this.
Atonement?
Right. And like for a lot of people, no. But I'm thinking like people like Arielle, they'd be like, okay, it shouldn't have taken somebody to die for this to happen, but at least they're trying to do something. They are trying to make sure it's better now. Right. They are. Right. And like, I think you can go on to 2025 like that. And if people don't, if you're like, it's not enough, I want blood, you're never going to be happy. You know what I mean? Like that's.
I want to bring this up before I forget. John, if you're an independent investigator, you're probably going to do something. I hate to do this. You're going to do something similar to what Alpin did, and you're going to create a timeline, and you're going to talk to all the parties involved with that timeline. Anyone who has important intel on what happened. I have not heard. John knows everything, so maybe he's heard, but I've not heard a single athlete say that they were interviewed by the private investigators, independent investigators. Have you?
I plead the 5th.
I've not, but I don't have as good intel as John. So it doesn't really matter.
John, what does the report say since you know?
I assume that it's coming out in 5 days. You've seen it.
Right.
I don't know. Do you want to bring up that comment by Souza?
Yeah. MatthewSouza.
Get this shit down.
If you guys didn't know, he is now an employee of the Spin for a day, an hour. I'm not sure. They'll use this to go open quarterfinals straight to the games and kill sanctionals, semifinals, whatever you want to call in-person events between virtual and the games.
So, yes.
Just to get that seems like a sacrificial goat.
What does that do?
What sacrificed?
What does that do?
Like,
first off, Tyler, you effed up whatever you were trying to say there.
Well, I was thinking,
you were all over the place.
If John pissed me off and I hit Spin in the face.
Gosh dang it!
Well, I don't see the.
I think they are doing this.
Why?
I think they're going to.
What does this have to do with anything? With
I don't
investigation?
know. But nothing.
Souza, will you
nothing.
elaborate?
It doesn't.
Please?
It doesn't have anything to do with the investigation. But I do. But they are going to change. I do think they're going to change how you get to the games a little bit. And I think like the top 5 people in the Open are going to go to the games. I like just the Open. I think that's going to happen next year.
And then they're going to open up independent competitions in which you can qualify, similar to 2018. And then they're just going to drop they'll 19, and then they'll just name it something different, but it'll just be that.
Hey, they already have the trademark and for sanctionals, so they're fine. Why recreate something? I don't see the connection between the two, honestly. Like,
I really am interested to hear how he thinks that would happen.
Yeah, I just don't see.
There is no connection. I don't know where that comment went up. I just think they're going to do that.
I mean, again, I'm all for the sanctional season if you can make it work. I'd love to be able to do the Spencast every single weekend.
Every single weekend.
Yeah.
I would love to run the Heat one at more than 6 times a year.
That's what Adam said. He wanted to do it every weekend.
Yeah, Adam's bored. Like he's got wrinkles on his thumbs, like from not doing anything.
Yeah. All right. So basically, you guys are saying, or John says, the report's going to be very bad. It's going to be great for CrossFit.
I did not say that. No.
And it's going to be, everybody's going to be happy.
Listen, don't put words in my mouth, man. That's how
he does that for himself.
A whole cult of people end up trying to kill me. So don't do that. No, I have no idea what the report will say. I think we'll have a couple answers to questions that have entered our brains at times, whatever those questions are. I think we'll have more questions after. I don't know.
Call in Souza.
Call in Souza, please.
If you don't, you're fired.
I am interested in how you would write that report. Like, that's not a standard template. You can't go into Chat GPT and say, hey, help me write this investigation report on whatever. I mean, maybe you can do that.
You just put your name in the right-hand corner with the date and, whatever
just
else.
Like a homework assignment.
Yeah, whatever else you put on there. And then the title can be the investigation of Lazar Dukic, and you start off.
Yeah, I literally am just trying to walk through the steps of how you would write that report and what you would say. And I would do it through a timeline. And I would say, like, these are the decisions that were made to create this moment in the timeline.
I don't think the timeline has anything to do with it, honestly.
No, but it's a way to write the narrative of what happened and then the decisions that were made so that
I think it all comes down to interviewing the people on the paddle boards and finding out what was in place before that.
They interviewed Dave. They probably interviewed Don. They interviewed anybody who's on the games team. There's
interview the
where
guy
you'll
that
get your list.
That doesn't matter to me.
The guy who tried to save him?
No.
Yeah, but he was turned away by somebody.
Yeah, but
somebody sat there and watched it happen.
They told him, okay, and they went and found somebody. From what I think I saw, they went over and tried to stop Adler, whoever else was going off course, and wasn't clear of what happened. Like, I guess they may talk to him to find out, like, what did you say? But again, like, if you're just saying, hey, there's somebody drowning over there, like,
there's a guy that jumped in that they stopped.
Yeah, but like that also they didn't know he might be some creep. It's like, get out of the water, dude.
Yeah,
like,
but
he's also a drown risk.
He's worth interviewing, though. Like,
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You're probably interviewing that guy because they turned him away. That guy jumped in to try to save Lazar and he was turned away, absolutely. You interview that guy. Why was he turned away? What did they see? What did he see? Absolutely, you do that. If he's look right there, he can't swim. And then that guy looks and does nothing. You're telling me there's not responsibility there? I think there is.
No, well, I'm not saying that there's not responsibility to save Lazar. What I'm saying is to get him out of the water. I can justify why that happened. That person's a drown risk. You don't know that they can swim. They're not supposed to be in the water. They might be dangerous to other people in the water. Getting him out of the water is important.
And those are the answers that person turned him away would give. But I still think it's worth investigating if you're investigating.
Oh, sure.
That's what I'm saying.
One of the things you'll know if it's doctored, because it should have names of people and what their assignment was, what their responsibility was within CrossFit, but also in particular that day. And if we don't have that list, then we know it's bullshit.
I don't think we'll get that. If there's anything that's redacted, that's it.
Right.
Like, people like outside of Dave Castro, Don Fall, Adrian Bosman, maybe, I don't think names are released. Maybe Sport Team one. Yeah. Right. And there's some key out there that says who it is. That I don't see them publishing anything with
Souza
names.
City just called.
False. No. Oh, there it is. Yeah, somebody did call.
Call him back.
His spin puts the live call and it's on silent.
Yeah, maybe.
Souza's like, you guys suck. I'm trying to call.
That's fair.
I'm excited. Souza's calling in. Dude.
What is going on? All right, I'm calling you, Souza. Don't
answer.
They announced they announced one of the events at the Fitness Experience, and I'm doing the qualifier, and it's 1 rep max bench press and then 1 rep max clean. And I was like,
Saw that.
Hey, it's Matthew, long-time listener, first-time caller, first-time employee.
That's right. Souza, what's happening? You got to explain yourself.
What's up, guys?
Why?
Dude.
Why would they get rid of that, and what does that have to do with the investigation?
What the hell are you talking about?
It has absolutely nothing to do with the investigation, but you guys got to think about the long-term strategy here. And think about it in the terms I put in the comments. I put never waste a tragedy, sign the U.S. government. So what they're going to do is they're going to focus on their long-term strategy, which is going to be, and Don's already said this publicly, taking a meaningful money out of sport, right? Well, what did you guys note that was meaningfully reduced from years past to this year? Did you notice anything?
equipment,
Space.
just games, everything involved with the games was stripped.
Marketing, clothing. Wait, what do you mean?
Yeah, exactly. So there's a mass reduction of pretty much everything, right? So what they're going to do now is use this investigation, and they're going to say, look, the person we paid, which this investigation is basically them paying somebody to tell them who to fire and what to do. So they could do it and say, don't blame us, blame the third independent party, right? So they'll tell them whose heads have to roll, and they'll play that dance. I don't think Dave's head will roll. So I think everybody will stay. And then what they're going to do is say, but we've reestablished a third-party medical team, and this is going to cost a significant amount of money. And how we're going to pay for this is a restructure of the game season. Then they're going to frame it. They're going to say, we think this allows for more opportunity for athletes outside of the season to make a career out of it with the shortened season. They'll go open, they'll go quarterfinals, they'll go games, or they'll do a semifinal online. But either way, you'll have a reduction in stages, or they'll just keep the same stages and it'll all be online until the in-person one at the games. And they're going to cite those to the money taken out to be reinvested into athlete safety in the years to come. And then they're going to say, we have to make optics of this. So there'll be some shitload of people out there, medical teams and staff and all this. And in that way, they could point at it as the reason why they had to restructure the season.
I do not like a not in-person semifinal.
I said they do the opposite.
Well, what do you like about my theory, John? It's not my theory.
Theory sounds good. If you can make the in-person semifinal happen, I'm on board.
I say you go back to the regional
days
and host 14
you're under the impression. You are under the impression that the priority list goes integrity of competition, then, right?
That doesn't have to be top priority.
John's biggest flaw is that he thinks like John.
Listen, that doesn't have to be the top priority. It still has to be a priority.
Yeah. I mean, there's going to be a whole shitload of problems with an all-online thing to the game if they end up going that route. But I was just saying that's my, you know me, I'm the conspiracy theorist, the speculator. So that's where I would place my money.
I think if they're like, hey, we're going to have a third-party medical team, it's going to cost us a lot of money, so we're going to restructure the game season. If they're upfront about that, I think people buy that. I think people would be good with that because they're upfront about what's happening. The communication is clear. This is the moves they're making, whether you agree with it or not. You know what I mean? At least it's clear communication, and you're telling you where your money is going. I think people will get on board with that.
What if we just raise the open to $25? That extra $5 times 300,000 covers it.
That'll fix everything.
Hey, Souza, by chance, do you know a net salary? What if we just used her salary?
Do I know a net salary?
Yeah, what if we just used her salary and went to semifinals on her salary?
Hey, dude,
it's not enough. I'll tell you right now.
You can't take that out. Hey, dude, here's the reason why I said that. Because you said it too. You said they if they were upfront about it, people would be okay with it, right? Outside of a tragedy, can you imagine a scenario where they were still upfront with that decision and ultimately it ended the same way and the athletes and the people accepted it at all? I'll answer that for you. It's no. Just like the same way Americans would not allow the government to spy on their own citizens unless you call it the Patriot Act after a massive tragedy shakes the whole entire country. Then people agree to a shit a lot easier, especially in the name of safety.
So they should let Edward Snowden back in the country. I agree.
So a shit sandwich.
I don't doubt that man is a patriot.
I agree 100%. Yeah.
So there you go. I got to go extreme.
You did.
It makes a.
No, I don't mind it at all, Souza. I don't mind it at all. I will hate, and I will talk about it forever, how much of a terrible thing it is if semifinals is online.
I mean, absolutely. I would agree. I think you could probably do it almost when it went back to the data when it was like sectionals, and you could hand it over to people like JR that could run competitions locally at a high level, and you could start giving out a bunch of those and almost license it out, right? So there could be a way that you could still do it where they don't have to take on the cost of a venue and all this other stuff. And then you could also localize it to an affiliate. And most likely they would be stoked to host it. And you would have X amount of people come through your gym, right? Maybe they help you plug with some vendors. You do this whole spectacle at your gym, similar to like what they used to do with the Open. But
yeah, what I'm thinking is
track record of it or something.
Open quarterfinals can operate normal. And then if you qualify to semifinals through or sectionals, whatever you want to call it, if you qualify through quarterfinals, you're in the top 60 or whatever, then they divide that by 20 people and those 20 people go to XX competition. And then top 5 from XX competition goes to the games. I'm completely down for that.
Right.
But nobody's going to go.
Yeah, I mean,
there's no facility for those people to go to the competition in semifinals.
In that case, JR would take on the liability, take on the.
Yeah, JR would, if there's say it's 60 people, he'd have 20 guys, 20 girls, top 5 from each one, and then there's 3 of them, right? Yeah. There's 3 of them in the East, 3 of them in the West, 20 and 20.
You know what? I think
from everyone goes.
Souza's an agent of CrossFit. He's already getting us listen at us. We're already talking about the logistics of how this works. He works for HQ. He is the predictive programmer.
He's probably told John that it's going to be released on October 7th.
Can you confirm or deny that we will find something out on October 7th?
Over or under?
Hey, it's going to be crazy when you guys find out our own Brookshire partners.
That'd be wild.
All right, boys, keep speculating. Thanks for letting me call in. Finn, I'm your best employee. You know it.
I did definitely.
Peace out.
Thank you, Susan. All right. I think with that, somebody wants us to stop. Fondal says 1999. End this thing now. Stop talking about it. All right. How do you guys think we did?
I think it was a 10.
Tyler?
I'm gonna go with over or under 7.
7. Oh, I definitely think it's better than a 7.
I give it like an 8.
There we go.
It wasn't too long.
Yes, sir.
And they got a lot of good conversation.
It was pretty long.
Kind of went after each other, which is kind of cool. I think the show's a 10.